Uh-oh. Oh, Miss Moore, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and clear. Loud and clear, Miss Moore.
Thank you, baby. Not you.
Okay. Loud and clear. Welcome.
Hi.
How are you doing? Listen, we're gonna get started in a few seconds, Miss Moore.
Okay, okay, okay.
We're gonna get started in 5 seconds, and you can hear me.
I hear you. I hear you.
Okay. Hotep, peace, everyone. Dashan Farad. Welcome to another edition of Your Black World, founded by Dr. Boyce Watkins. Today we have with us, as they say, a sister who needs no introduction. We are joined by and honored by the legendary songstress, musician, entrepreneur, all around bad sister, Miss Melba Moore. Welcome, Miss Moore. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm fantastic. Thanks for having me, John.
For those of you who are just now tuning in or who will be tuning in, as you see this broadcast being, we have someone else. For those of you who are now just now tuning in, we're going to be speaking tonight with Miss Moore. First of all, if you're tuning in, just to let you know, I'm the only one speaking with Miss Moore at this hour. So please, if you want to do a question, you can put it in the chat box. But anyway, we're going to be speaking with Miss Moore about her latest single, "Just Doing Me," which was done amid COVID, the COVID crisis. As many of you know, many artists had actually suffered, many performance artists had suffered because most venues across America were shut down. But Miss Moore is going to speak with us about this song, what inspired it, as well as her career. And we're going to get started right now. We're not going to keep Miss Moore for more than 30 minutes. And so, Miss Moore, the floor is yours. Please let us know what was behind Just Doing Me.
Well, it was created by Terry Hunter. Do you know who he is?
Yes, a wonderful producer.
Yes. I didn't produce it. He did. It was written and arranged by George Pettis. Do you know who he is?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I do.
All right. Well, do you know who Angela Pettis is?
I've never heard of Angela, but I know about Mr. Press. You know, my mother raised me on, the R&B, as they say, so-called old school.
Okay. Well, Angela is George's wife. The reason I'm saying nobody else can do me better than I can. Angela wrote that for me to say. So.
Okay. So what I
Okay.
want to, yes, ma'am. So what I,
Probably, I see by the expression on your face that tells you a lot.
yes, it does. Yes, it does.
It gives you the personality of the song and the whole thing.
Yes, it does. So as I understand it, Miss Moore, one of the things that had inspired you was D Nice's live streams that he had been doing. DJ D.
That was very inspiring to me because what he did was he took this COVID and everybody was shut in and not really knowing what we should do and how we should communicate, and he turned it into a party.
That he did.
And I was fortunate because I'm one of his favorite artists, so he played me all the time.
I noticed that. I actually know. I noticed that. I noticed that. When you,
Now, Deshaun, I did not pay him to do that. No, I'm just saying this has all happened because George Pettis, Terry Hunter, D Nice were all doing what they were doing. They like me, they made me part of their projects. And so I get to be a part of this new day, this new era, this new global communication way of doing entertainment.
okay, so Miss Moore, what I want to know is the song. Now I've listened to the song. Now I'm not at all surprised that the song is slamming. Okay, because my mother raised me on your music. Okay, I'm not at all surprised. But what I want to know is what type of reviews have you been getting with this single?
Everybody loves it. I don't care if it's gospel. I don't care if they're old. I don't care if they're young. I don't care if they're French, Latino, if they're black, white. Everybody loves it. And what happened was I had to hurry up and make a video because everybody was making their own videos doing themselves. In other words, I'm saying I'm just doing me, but they was just doing them. So I think what happened, it has a spirit about it. Everybody can say, oh, plus, we're so anxious. We've lost 200,000 people dying. Everybody knows somebody that's died recently. We desperately need genuine joy. So I can just say I was blessed to come along at this time. And I had done the song maybe 6 months ago. So Terry was working on a lot of other different things, and he took the time and did his house mix on it. He and George released it on their label, Mirrorball Records, and then came back and told me I had it.
I can tell. Now, I want to ask you a question now, Miss Moore. So tell me, from this song, are you thinking about coming out with a new album anytime soon or in the distant future? Is that on the table?
Well, what they have told me, I'm not in charge of it anymore. I let Terry and George take charge. I'm on their label. They got me. I'm the artist. They're the entrepreneurs. But Terry wants to release another song that George wrote for me called You Can't Deny It. And I'm sure they're going to take what we did and remix it and make it whatever it is they know people really love to hear and need to hear right now. They're going to add that to this. They're going to put a remix on Standing Right Here, which is an old standard of mine. And they mentioned, I think they mentioned Mind Up Tonight, but I might be wrong. But they want to take a couple of the classic songs that I've done before, do fresh mixes on them, and just remind people of who I am along with these new songs.
Well, Miss Moore, if you don't mind me saying it, I appreciate them actually doing that. But me being 43 years old, I was born in 1977. And by the way, I'm from, you're from the bricks. I'm from Illtown. I'm from East Orange, New Jersey. North New Jersey. To me, artists from your era never went away or never became irrelevant because they're playing songs of people, when I was in college 20 years ago, and now people that are young enough to be my children who are in college or high school, your music is still being played.
Yes. Well, I think people like you, D Nice, Terry, George.
Right. That's an example.
Yeah. Well, you loved our music. You kept it alive. As a matter of fact, what you've done is you've kept the art of dance music has expanded because of you people. You people.
Generation X. Generation Xers.
And because the DJ you become artists. You're the producers. You're the promoters of concerts. You have radio stations of your own. You've expanded the art into an industry, and you've respected us. You have new music, but you haven't thrown us away. That's why we're still here.
Now, Miss Moore, now I'm glad that you actually, brought that up, and I'm glad we're on this topic because your career has been extraordinary. Now, of course, many people hear your music who may be younger, and when they hear you stepped into my life and other songs that you sing, they may not know exactly who you are. But
Right.
for people who may not, who are saying, "Oh, she's the one that did it," give us a little background of some of your influences.
Okay, I'm laughing because maybe a lot of people who only know me from recordings don't realize they probably never would have heard of me had I not been on Broadway first. And since many of us, especially Afrocentric people, still don't really go to Broadway that much, they won't know about you unless you have a hit record.
Well, you know what, Miss Moore, if I may, you don't know this, okay, but I told Mr. Richards this. The first time that I saw you in person was in 2006 in Washington, D.C., when you did that play at the Lincoln Theater. It was when you were playing, I think you had the baby by the preacher, and your son didn't know that was his father.
Oh, that was a gospel play, right?
Yes, ma'am. That was the first
Right.
time I saw you in person.
Right, and it was probably the first time a lot of Black people. When I say the gospel play, that's something essentially that was created by one person, not Tyler Perry. He took it and took it to television and film and has made a whole industry out of it. But the first person to do it was Michael Matthews, and he started with just church audiences that he brought in to see the plays, and they literally were gospel plays about sacred subjects. So that's the first time that you saw me, and that was it seems like God has just put me in places that are innovative and not experimental, but what do you call it? I can't think of the word now, but you do it first before everybody.
Oh, you're talking about a pioneering.
That's pioneer. That's the word. I don't know. Somehow I'm always in that position, and the gospel musical is something I'm honored and really pleased to have been part of helping to establish. Yeah.
Well, now of course, now still on your career. Now you mentioned that it's interesting because I'm noticing a lot of African American singers from say from a mature generation. Most of y'all came out of the church. That's very
Right,
interesting. Most
right.
of y'all came out of the church, so that play was right up your alley. Okay, but what I want to ask you,
Excuse me, but
yes, you said you didn't.
I did not.
Oh, I'm sorry, Miss Moore. What?
Right.
Go
Now,
ahead.
let me set you straight. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
I am saved. I'm a born again Christian.
Yes, ma'am.
And I have a suspicion that's why I'm having this success now that God's giving it to me again. And I'm telling you, I've been in a position of being pioneer, but I don't think you do that yourself. That's something God does to you and for you. It's just that traditionally speaking, our gospel artists have been like the Clark family or Pastor Shirley Caesar or the Winans or many of the that I don't sing like that.
Yes,
But
ma'am.
my position is this: He owns it all. So
Okay, well, as we stay on I'm glad, like I say, because right now I want to focus definitely on your career. Now, the influences that you had, definitely coming up in North New Jersey, because you were there with, you know, Sassy Vaughan, and of course, up the hill you had Sissy Houston and so many people. Who were some of your influences?
well, let me see. Aretha Franklin. I mean, listen to the radio like everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Uh, um, Dionne Warwick. Uh, I can't. I don't think in those terms so very often. But as I just look over the years, we had incredible singers like now Donna Summers. I mean, that's just iconic, ridiculous. But also, I don't know. This didn't have anything to do with me getting into Broadway. That was just a series of circumstances. But one of my favorite artists, of course, was Barbara Streisand, and all of the different white singers that we had, not just female. I just can't think of them all right now. But we had incredible artists, and my mother was a professional singer. I was her first. I was her first fan, right? Right. I mean, she was beautiful in her sense of glamour. If you're going to be a singer, your packaging is everything. And my mother always, gave me a sense of you have to try to be, something. I guess just respect yourself. Oh, that's a sacred singer song.
So I want to ask you a question. You saying that now you mentioned the people that inspired you. Now, as you know, you have many sisters. Mary J. and Beyonce and Jennifer Hudson. They look up to sisters like you and Aretha and Gladys and Patti LaBelle. You have almost some, if you would, goddess like status. Okay. What I want to know from you is, have you, first of all, have you ever have you interacted with any of the younger sisters that I've mentioned, like Mary J, Beyonce, and have they ever
Well, I
Erica Badu?
I did a film with Beyonce called The Fighting Temptations,
Oh yes, ma'am. I forgot about that.
and I was invited to the Oprah Legends Ball, and one of my dear friends was Pastor Shirley Caesar, and we were in one of Oprah's little holding living rooms. And so Pastor comes up to me, she says, Mel, who's that? I don't know these secular people. I said, Pastor Shirley, that's Mary J. Blige. At the Oprah's Legends Ball, it was incredible because we were all mixed up together and we could meet each other. And I was a great fan of, I am a great fan of Tina Turner, and I got to see her in person, and some of the opera singers. And yes, we're a fan. And I had people, and I remember I was standing in one room, and Miss Ross, she's so soft spoken. She says, "Hi, Melba."
You sound just like her. Now you know what, Miss Moore.
Kind of funny.
Miss Moore, I've actually heard other artists express that reaction when meeting Diana Ross. You're not the first. I've actually heard, I've heard different.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And who else I'm really impressed with is her daughter Rhonda. I've spent a lot of time
I've,
around her.
I've had the privilege of meeting her.
And what I discovered recently, because we were doing the benefit, I met her husband for the first time. And he said, "You know what, Melba?" I said,
Oh,
"What?" He said, "I work with your brother. My brother has passed away. He passed away very young, but he was a great piano player. You have these kind of crossings that just are so dynamic, you know.
Miss Moore, speak up just a little bit. You seem to got a little,
Oh,
you got a little faint
okay,
a little bit, but I heard what you said. But just speak up just a
okay.
little bit.
I'll move a little closer.
I appreciate it. But listen, okay, so, you mentioned, of course, you meeting all of them. So this is what I want to ask you. You've been in the industry for quite some time, and so you've seen many people get inside this industry, rise and fall. What advice would you have for the group of singers, black women singers in particular, that are coming behind you, that look up to you as a legend, as an icon?
Well, everybody can fall, so maybe you don't have to keep that in the front of your mind. But I was edited Bert is going to be like a talk show host now, and so our paths have crossed. He was in Finding Temptations too, but our paths have crossed a lot. And he was looking at my career from like not a fan, but from the outside because he really didn't know me inside. But we were talking for the first time, and so he was saying, "Well, you kind of came into the industry like a little girl with just with a naked behind, huh?" I said, "Yeah." And he says, "So you get knocked on your little bottom, right? The one thing you must need to get adept at is getting back up and starting over." I would say that. If you have that somewhere, then whatever happens to you, it's going to be shocking. I can't tell you what to expect. Only God knows that. But something's going to happen. Okay. So I would just say, if you can, try to surround yourself with good people and be good to everybody. So if things go around, they come around, and somebody will be able to help you if you need it. And be ready to get back up and try again.
Well, okay, we're going to get ready to conclude, Miss Moore. But if there's anything that you want to say besides that, like plugging your product, any future plans, et cetera, is there anything you want to say for any final words for this particular episode?
Well, I'm sure you're going to do it, but I want everybody to go out and listen to Just Doing Me.
Wait a minute, I want to ask you. Wait a minute, actually, we could do something better. Can you play it for us? Do you mind playing it for us? If you're not,
Me?
yeah. Do you have it? Do you have a? Can you play it for us on your phone? If not, we'll just send people to it. It's on you.
No,
Okay.
no, no. Please send people to it. I can't, I don't
Yes.
know how to do that.
No, we
My
understand.
daughter got me on here with you.
Oh, Miss Moore, listen. You listen. I can't tell. Listen. You signed up right away. I can't. You seem to be. You seem to have mastered this.
Well, I've done it a few times now, but she always walks me through. So I look good.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Well, listen, Miss Moore. Before we go off air, I want to say. I want to listen. I'm a journalist. I come in that Gil Noble, Tony Brown tradition, and I must
Right.
say that speaking with you right now as a black journalist, this is one of the highlights of my career. I can say that now. Years later,
Oh,
people don't acknowledge something until years later. At this moment, this is the highlight of my career. Speaking with you, because
wonderful. But sometimes, we only know it in retrospect. But if you know it now, it feels good now. I'm very grateful. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'm very thankful. Like I said, I had to reach out to you just to let you know, Miss Moore. I've been wanting to reach out to you for quite some time, and that's why I would actually interact with you. For those of you that are tuning in, I would actually interact with Melba Moore on Instagram, and I would say, look, I remember one time you may not remember this. I had you laughing. Miss Moore was on Jesse Smollett's page, and she commented, and so I typed back. I said, "You stepped into my life, into my life, into my life." I'm sorry, I just had to do that. Listen. I love all your
That's
music.
great. That's great.
But that right there, when that come on in the club, I'm like, I gotta stop and stop Bob.
But thank God a lot of people feel that way. So I got a life. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Well, Miss Moore, before we go, please give people where they can reach you, how they can follow you.
Well, primarily just go on YouTube or melbamore.com and you can get everything else from there.
Listen, Miss Melba Moore, thank you very much for joining us. I'm looking forward to speaking with you again. Wishing you
Thank you
much,
so much for having me. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, wish you much success.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. Another reason why I love black women. Family, I'm Dashawn Farad. You've been listening to Your Black World. Please follow me on Instagram, Dashawn Farad Media, Twitter, Dashawn Farad, Facebook, Dashawn Farad. Speaking with you very soon. Everyone have an excellent day. Hotep, peace. Thank you again, Miss Moore.
Bless you.
That was phenomenal. Wow.